Justin and Jiah are a couple of guys who know they're gonna die, so they're biding time by consuming content and wasting their breath. It's a podcast called Amusing Ourselves to Death.
So excited. It's Target's 2-day sale. What if I oversleep? What if I forget my checkbook? Target has Garth Brooks' latest releases, The Magic of Christmas and Garth Brooks and the Life of Chris Gaines. I love Garth. I love Chris. I don't know who I love more.
Target's 2-day sale starts Friday. Come in early for incredible savings and surprises.
Need a map?
Oh, come on! I've got to get to Target.
Hey everybody, welcome to Amusing Ourselves to Death with Jiah and Justin.
Hello.
Hello. How you doing?
Good. Welcome to another episode. This is our 5th episode.
Is it?
Yeah, but you might be hearing this maybe a little earlier than the others due to the spooky nature of today's episode, talking about the Blair Witch Project.
Yes, we are. That's what we'll be talking about today. I think it's number 4. Is it?
Yeah, we'll check the Wikipedia later.
Yeah. Check the wiki.
Yeah, it might be 4. Yeah, I think it's 4.
Okay. Anyway, that doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
What matters is the Blair Witch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But first, just introduce the show. This is Amusing Ourselves to Death, where we talk about things that create passion and fire in our loins, in our heads, in our minds.
Yeah.
Mainly in the mediums of movies, television, video games, books, lawn mowing.
Love to mow a lawn.
Yeah. You ever mow lawn?
I used to mow a lot of lawns for money. And then I started mowing them for free. A lot of people don't tell you that. When you're an adult, you got to do it for free.
When you're an adult? I thought when you're a kid, maybe you do it for free. But when you have a house, that's right.
I had a neighbor who'd pay me $20 to mow her lawn.
Yeah.
And while I was mowing my lawn.
So, Justin.
Welcome to the Mowcast.
The Mowcast. Talking about John Deere.
Yeah.
So, I guess we'll do a little primer before we get into the meat of this episode. But is there anything particular that you've been amusing yourself to death with this week?
Yeah, this is what we do at the top of the show, is we kind of talk about little things that we're into. Mm-hmm. I went to see Dream Master last night, Elm Street 4, the fourth movie in the Elm Street anthology. If you aren't familiar with Freddy Krueger,
it's Freddy Krueger, the guy with he's got knives for fingers.
He's got
a
glove.
He's got some skin issues.
He does. He was burned alive.
That's right.
See, Freddy Krueger was a pedophile who wasn't convicted, and then all of the parents of the kids who were his victims banded together and burned him alive.
How did they band together? Did they have the meetup.com for...
I think so. I think they used meetup.com, and then they used torch.com.
Torch.com.
And they used the promo code Freddy to get their torches. And then they all showed up with torches in hand and burned them like Frankenstein.
You said this was a Dreamland, Dream World?
Dream Master.
Dream Master.
See, if you're not familiar with the Elm Street series, Freddy Krueger is a being that exists in dreams and kills you. The third installment of the series is Dream Warriors. And the Dream Master is kind of it's a direct sequel to Dream Warriors, whereas the first Elm Street stands on its own. Second one, they did a really different thing, different director. Wes Craven had wanted nothing to do with it. He didn't want to do an anthology or a whole series. And then Dream Warriors was like, I don't know. You have Dream Warriors and Dream Master, so there's characters who lived in Dream Warriors who carry over to Dream Master.
Gotcha. So where would you rank this on the Elm Street?
It's my
MCU
favorite.
This is your favorite?
Yeah, and I would argue, my hot take about this movie is that it belongs in the MCU.
It does.
Okay, so very briefly, the plot of this movie is they kill Freddy in the third one. They all band together and they realize that in their dreams, they can have powers. But there's one specific character who can pull other people into her dreams. And then that's how they banded together to stop Freddy. Okay? So Freddy's dead.
Freddy's
Allegedly.
dead, baby.
Just
Freddy's
like Jason,
dead.
They kill him at the end of every movie. They think they do. So in this movie, surprise, surprise, Freddy comes back, starts killing off all the teens again. It's the last of the children of the parents who killed him. It's the last of the Elm Street kids that he's killing off. So you have this one young woman, Alice. I forget who plays her. Lisa Wilcox, maybe?
Simpson?
No, not Lisa Simpson. No. She didn't play saxophone in this. Anyway, the person who played her was definitely my first crush ever. I realized last night as I was watching this, I was like, oh yeah. I thought it was Alyssa Milano. No.
You just saw like the matrix of your sexual desire just laid out in front of you. You saw all
the awakening,
the inner workings.
Yes.
When did you first see this movie? How old were you?
I was pretty young. I don't know, maybe like 10.
Okay.
My mom used to not like to watch scary movies by herself, so she'd have her young child watch them with her.
Okay.
But they're goofy movies.
Yeah.
They're a little scary. I like this one because it's very much a superhero origin story. So like real quick, all of her friends are dying and being killed off by Freddy, but every time one of them dies, she absorbs their power. So they have a friend who does karate, and all of a sudden he dies and she can do karate. The first friend who can pull Christy, who can pull people into her dreams, she dies, so she gets that power, and also her hair turns a little blonde. She's originally a redhead. And then she has another friend who just like I forget her name, but she lifts weights. She's the one who turns into a cockroach and gets crushed and killed in the movie. I don't know if you've ever seen this movie.
I have not, no.
Anyway, but then she gets strong like her and gets her like temper. So by the end of the movie, all of her friends are dead, but there's a piece of each of her friends like inside of her, and she uses these powers to kill Freddy at the end in a church.
Oh, it's almost like the Power Rangers kind of pulling the different dinosaur robots together.
Yes.
Together, they're more powerful than they were individually.
Yes. Or I would argue the Infinity Stones.
Infinity Stones.
Because there is a moment
there it is.
at the very end of the movie where it clicked for me. Where I was like, holy shit, this is a superhero movie. And then Freddy goes, I am eternal. And I turned to my friend Chris and I'm like, it's fucking Thanos.
Yeah.
It's like, I am inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then and half the people in the movie have to die, and in order for Freddy to be defeated.
Okay.
Even though they come back, they don't all come back at the end of this movie.
It also harkens to like the I am Iron Man line. That, at the end of Endgame.
It does.
Or in the beginning of Iron Man.
It is. Yeah. So it was very much like I was very into it.
And you saw it at drive-through, right?
Yeah, I saw it at the Mahoning drive-in.
Drive-in.
Yeah.
Drive-through. We saw the drive-through.
Yeah, I went to Burger King and watched it on my phone.
Sometimes there's really long waits in the drive-through. So
especially if you got into White Castle to get their Impossible Burger, because you'll wait the entire length of a feature-length movie before you get it.
I can attest to that.
Yeah. But no, it was great. I just I hadn't seen that movie since I was a kid, and it was my favorite as a kid, and I think it's still like nothing really beats the first movie, even though it just turns into Home Alone at the end.
A lot of movies do.
Yeah.
Skyfall.
Rambo.
Skyfall.
The new Halloween movie.
Skyfall.
This is my home. I have to defend it. So yeah, I don't know. Fun movie. Freddy only talks in one-liners. It's insane. Like, it's to the point where he's just, at this point, he's totally just hamming it up to the audience. There's one point he kills the first character. He looks into the camera and he's like, only 4 more to go.
Oh,
and it's
breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
It's like he knows he's in a movie.
He knows.
Yeah.
It's almost like Deadpool. And that's another reason it belongs in the MCU. Even though Deadpool is owned by Fox.
That can get a bit grating when the character's just talking one-liners. But or is it like the ultimate fantasy? Like if you in your daily life were to, have the perfect line for everything?
Yeah.
The one-liner life, is that a good way of going? Or do we need those ums and ehs and those kind of half-finished thoughts just to kind of be a human?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, if I could pause time and have the perfect response to every interaction in my life, I mean, sure, I might be in a better place, but it would also feel like...
It'd feel artificial.
It would feel artificial and feel earned.
Yeah, we can't edit ourselves.
No.
We are who we are. Life is messy. You can't just speak in one-liners. Freddy can because he's Freddy.
Right.
Also, this movie...
He's the star of his own movie that he knows he's in.
The reason why it's all one-liners is it's directed by the same guy who did Deep Blue Sea. Which is also just a movie full of one-liners.
Oh, the shark.
The shark
makes a lot of fun.
The shark is just winking at the camera, cracking jokes. I've talked too long about this. That's what I'm into this week.
Okay.
Is how I'm campaigning for Dream Master. Go see it, and please write to the MCU, and let's just get Freddy back in the MCU.
Some kind of like legal arrangement, I'm sure, can be made. They have the big box set coming out this November. I'm sure they could make some room in the cardboard for that.
Oh my God! Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Can you imagine if somebody they get the big box set for Christmas, they open it up, and it's like, oh, it's all of them. And it's like Freddy, Elm Street 4, Dream Master. Oh, okay.
Maybe it'll replace like Thor 2, The Dark World. No one will even miss it. So
no, nobody will know the difference. Anyway, so what are you into this week?
I've been catching up on the final season of The Deuce on HBO.
The Deuce. as Bruce Springsteen said, the Deuce.
The Deuce. That's
not douche.
The douche. No, it's the Deuce. Refers to the Times Square in the New York City. You're familiar with New York City.
The Times Square? I've been to the Times Square.
Did you know that years ago, the Times Square...
I've seen... Go ahead, what?
The Times Square. It used to be filled with porno movie theaters and prostitutes and all kinds of just kind of slime and
it's still filled with
sex.
prostitutes.
It's still filled with prostitutes. You go to that M&M store, they're everywhere.
Yeah. Also, there's like, I don't know, I had a big green muscular prostitute proposition me for a photo last time I was there. A young webbed adventurer prostitute asked for a photo. They're all Marvel characters.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Is all the people, the stupid characters in the Times Square.
Well, this show is a third and final season, and it follows people who live in that world of Times Square, either the pornographers themselves or people that are tasked with cleaning up the city, or it's mainly like a big cast of prostitutes and pimps, some police, and. It has like if you've ever seen The Wire or Treme, it follows that David Simon template of just we're following like at least like 12 to 15 main characters as they kind of go about their lives, and they all kind of work towards a common purpose, and you kind of get the sense that it's like they're kind of like these people are on the right side of history, but history is just gonna just toss them down the toilet. Toss them down the toilet. It's the phrase they use. So I've just been enjoying watching that because they're finally actually cleaning up. They're like tearing down buildings and just like going like extra legal ways to like we want to take down this brothel, so let's like hire some dirty cops to like burn it down basically, or start a fire in the basement. Stars James Franco and Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Oh, this is like a new show.
It's the third season, but it's like it's like it started like 3 years ago. So.
I think I remember seeing trailers.
Yeah.
Is it like
it's like the unsexiest show about porn ever. It really just kind of takes a very clinical look at the pornography industry.
That's interesting. I feel like we get a lot of content about the porn industry in Los Angeles and not so much about the East Coast.
Yeah, though actually this season has been taken a little bit in Los Angeles, as we followed one character who started out as a prostitute, and she kind of worked her way up doing like underground amateur porno films. Now she's like a famous porno actress.
Wow.
And you just kind of see like just
the rise,
how like psychologically damaged she is by that.
Oh, okay.
Is
it like The Wire, where they go into like a lot of bureaucracy?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of just like either you're following this along, you're not. We're not going to stoop. We're not going to like dumbify the language for you.
Hand,
yeah, we're not holding your hand.
We're not going to cut through these thick Baltimore accents to help you understand what they're saying.
It's also like it's funny. Not funny. What am I saying?
It's not funny.
It's not funny. Actually, it is. It is funny. I was going to say Dominic Lombardarzi. The actor Dominic. I can't say
The Don.
The Don.
Don.
He's playing a great character named Jack Maple. Detective Jack Maple, who's actually has some ideas on how to clean up the city.
Is this the show where James Franco plays two?
He plays
characters?
twins. Yeah,
Okay.
It premiered in 2017, which was a great year for twins on dramas. It was also the same year that Fargo season 3 aired, and they had Ewan McGregor playing twins.
Brilliant.
So something was in the air.
Ewan McGregor's back.
It's like when Deep Impact and Armageddon were the same year. These things just happen.
Ghosts of Mars and the other Mars one,
The Mars.
Red Planet.
Yeah, 30 Seconds of Mars, the movie, right?
No, that's the band.
That's the band. Anyway, it's a great show. I'd highly recommend. It's only 8 episodes a season.
It's digestible.
Yeah,
it's HBO.
HBO, the Hobo, and a young Michael Gandolfini also has a supporting role. James Gandolfini's son. He's playing a stockbroker / pimp. And you can really just kind of see old Tony Soprano in those eyes, and he's actually playing a young Tony Soprano in the new Sopranos movie coming out next summer. So
is that like that's like a flashback?
Yeah, flashback.
Seeing the rise of Tony. Is that kind of what it is?
It's like it started. I think the movie started just like we're gonna follow like his father and his uncle as like the city of New York erupts in riots, but now like they have Michael Gandolfini. Like, yeah, let's just kind of focus more on him. So I don't know. I haven't seen the movie. There hasn't even been a trailer out yet, but
okay.
I'm assuming that's what it's gonna be about.
So there's just that casting at this point.
Yeah. Absolutely. They all sold out.
That's convenient.
As you know my position, David Chase is just a pure sellout. So
Oh, okay. I'm not aware of that opinion. The hot take for all those who are familiar with David Chase and his work. Mm-hmm. Did he just do The Sopranos?
He just did this. Well, he did other things in the 70s and 80s, like Northern Exposure.
Oh.
And I think
I feel like that
the
was
Rockwell
a show
Files.
that like got easily... Was that around the same time as Twin Peaks was airing?
Yeah, late 80s, early 90s.
It was like, small town in the woods.
Yeah.
Quirky town.
Alaska, maybe?
Yeah, I think it was Alaska.
I haven't actually I've not seen it. But
I've seen the DVD cover recently. I'm pretty sure it's...
I've seen the
Alaska.
DVD cover, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it kind of counts as seeing something.
Mark that down. Let's do a whole episode on the DVD cover of Northern Exposure.
DVD covers. I'll add it to the Google Drive.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Yeah, so that's cool. I mean, I'll have to check it out. I mean...
Yeah, add it to your
maybe
list.
sometime. Mm-hmm. I'll get to it at some point.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
There's too much.
Yeah.
There's too much content.
There's a lot.
But speaking of content, we both did enjoy and watch today. Actually.
Yeah,
I mean,
today.
an hour
This
ago.
was a first we discover how we're making this show. We watched the movie together in the same room. We both took notes.
Everything else we've been watching totally separate.
Yeah, we had just been giving each other homework assignments. But yeah, we watched the Blair Witch Project, the horror film from 1999. The way it's meant to be seen at 1:30 in the afternoon on a Sunday.
On an HD television.
HD television, yeah.
Yeah.
You can see all that grain, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, it was... I think I've only watched this during the daytime since... with the exception of the first time I saw it was on VHS. I rented it. And... I feel like that was... we said it when we started watching it today. I was like, I feel like I should just be watching this on VHS on like a shitty TV.
Right.
But
where like Heather Donahue's face is filling the entire like VHS box set.
Oh, yeah. There's no negative space there. Yeah, let's start by talking about our first... Like, we'll get to how we felt today, but let's talk about the first time we saw this.
Okay.
Let's start from the beginning, as one would say.
1999. I was about 12 years old. And I saw...
I'm not sure. You're looking at me very... looking for me for confirmation.
I think
sure.
that's how math works.
How old are you?
I am...
That's not going to help me.
I am 22, baby.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's funny. I'm 18.
Yeah. Ladies, we're legal.
Ladies, yeah. All the ladies listening to this podcast, this about two men talking about a movie from 1999. Anyway, it could happen.
Yeah. So I saw it with my dad at the Regal Richland Crossing 12 in Quakertown. It was one of those... it was a theater that had like half stadium seating, half just on the floor seating. You know, like non-stadium seating.
People sit on the floor?
They sit on the floor. Cheap tickets, though.
Oh, yeah. But, you know, those classic theaters
you pay,
where...
you pay $1.50. Yeah, you sit on the floor. But
yeah, it's like you're in kindergarten.
Yeah.
Bring your mat.
I think I was aware of some of the marketing behind this movie where like they were really kind of promoting it as like this is real, this is not a movie. They even posted like the actors' IMDb profiles as they listed them as missing on IMDb. There was a fake documentary that came out on Sci-Fi called The Curse of the Blair Witch that kind of just took clips from the film and talking to people who knew the people in the film and the legend of the Blair Witch itself.
I think I vaguely remember seeing that.
Yeah.
Because that aired before the movie came out, right?
I think it was on TV before. So like
back when Sci-Fi was like not SCY.
Yeah, it was in Sci-Fi.
Yeah,
it was Sci-Fi.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I saw it with my dad, and yeah, it freaked me out. I mean, you know, I'm not going to say, oh, it didn't scare me. No, it's a generally unsettling movie. It almost feels like a violation. Like, you shouldn't be seeing this footage. Like, it does feel like, you know, I've never seen a snuff film. That's a lie. I've seen a snuff film, but this feels like a very well acted snuff film.
You've seen a snuff film?
I saw a clip of one years ago.
My dad saw
I
one.
accidentally downloaded something, and it was just like this like extreme close up of like someone getting stabbed in the neck with a knife.
Is this like back in the like Rotten.com days?
Yeah. So I mean, I think I watched like a few seconds. I was like, nope, this is not right. So it could have been a fake, but
isn't it wild that it's like, I feel like you and I, our generation, were the first generation to really get fucked up by the internet. Like we were the guinea pigs almost.
Yeah.
To where
because our parents didn't really know how to use it, so like, you know,
really
like
understand it.
They're like, we're paying for it. We'll let the guy in to install it, but then it's like, it's up to you, kid.
Cool, I can email my sister now.
Right.
Go see what's on there.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I'm going to see a man get stabbed in the neck, or I'm going to go on Rotten.com and see Chris Farley's bloated dead corpse.
Yeah. Or I'm going to wait for like my parents to go out of town and log on to Playboy.com.
Right. Or I'm going to go to Lemon Party. or I'm gonna go to Tub Girl. What's Tub Girl?
Tub Girl.
This would be funny. I'll Google Tub Girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, horrible. Don't look at any of these things.
Oh.
But
especially Playboy.com. I mean,
oh god,
those articles.
No, that's the worst part.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's all I read.
Yeah.
No. I looked at Playboys in print.
When was the first time you saw?
Under my dad's bed.
Oh yeah.
He had a stack under there. It was weird.
That's funny. I saw one at my dad's work. He managed this like coffee warehouse.
Yeah.
And I used to like help out there after like in summer times in the warehouse. And like the guys there just had like a Playboy like sitting on the toilet in like the filthy just concrete warehouse they had. And it was just like
that's how you got to read.
Yeah. Like it's like May of 1997.
Right. You know? The internet back then was real strange.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really
it still is. It got stranger and just dumber.
It's dumber.
Yeah.
But back then it was like, oh, cool, I could stumble across this fucked up thing. Mm-hmm. But it was still to the point where there wasn't social media. There was AIM.
Yeah.
You could email each other.
There were like many websites as opposed to now where there's like 4 websites.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they're all owned by the one company and there's 4 of them.
And we're just like putting screenshots of one website on the other website, basically.
Yeah. Whereas back then it's like you go to school and somebody would be like, oh, did you hear about this? And it's like, oh, I know, I gotta look that up.
Yeah.
But I just remember, I don't want to get into a whole thing about the internet.
Yeah.
Never mind.
We were talking about the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, let's talk about how crazy the internet was.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, that ties into it though.
Yeah, because that's where like a lot of the hype was. And there was a website I remember going on, BlairWitch.com. It had like screenshots of like the footage that was found, like like the film cans and like the DAT tapes,
like really creepy, just stills of like just sticks.
It probably played like that end credit music, or like just like some guy just kind of like rolling like metal rebar against like some sheet metal and just like what
I don't know
that sound effect.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't think it had that. I don't think it had any music. I think all I recall is that it comes up and it's just had the missing ad on there. Where it's like the 3 photos.
The ad missing brought to you by.
yeah. Missing.
Yeah.
This fall in NBC.
Well, no, just the fact that like that. Anyway.
The first time I saw it was like I said on VHS. We rented it. I didn't go to the theater. I think I was too scared, and we had heard that people were throwing up.
Yeah,
there was like a whole
vomiting. Like literally, like the first frame of this movie has like the Helvetica like font text, or just like saying in October 1994 these kids went missing, and it's already shaking. Like it's giving
why
the
does the title card need to shake?
Yeah, I don't understand. That was definitely, it was a deliberate aesthetic choice.
Yeah. But in the terms of like the mythology of the movie and how it is, it's like it's like, I don't know. It's just, maybe it's just it made no sense to me. It's funny.
It's already kind of, things are off kilter, a little unsettled. And,
it adds to the vibe, but it's
I
don't know. You can't pick apart this movie.
No.
It really does no good. But and with that, let's just end this now.
Yeah. That's Blair Witch. The guy ends up in the corner and she drops the camera and they all live happily after.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. Come on.
Yeah. No, this scared the shit out of me. And even watching it today, I felt anxious. Just the whole, like, the tent scene is insane. Like, that whole scenario, I don't know. It's great. I love this movie and it still holds up. It's still being screened in places for a reason.
Yeah,
like
20 years came out this past July, so
yeah, and it was one of the first movies. That's crazy. There's 20 years that did the whole viral marketing thing. You know, I mean, I think that at least the first one I was aware of before Cloverfield and like
Southland Tales.
Yes, as we compare this, Southland Tales, the true sequel to Blair Witch, the spiritual sequel to Blair Witch. Where you had to read the comic.
Yeah, there's a comic. There's they made the TV show, the documentary that aired on the Sci-Fi Network,
which is like you just had to catch that if it was on.
Yeah, it was just on, and it probably was on like one. But also
back in the day, it was just on, and you couldn't look it up.
Look,
you just had to go find it.
You had 40 channels, and that's all you needed.
It was like a Playboy. You got to go to the woods to read porn, man. That's how old we are.
You don't go to the woods to read porn anymore?
I still do.
Yeah.
There's less woods here, though. There's more woods where I'm from, so there's more porn. You have to work harder here. Like, I got to drive all the way up to the Poconos.
Yeah, sometimes it's like 2 a.m. Like, oh, I want to watch some porn. Oh, I got to go in the woods now. Get in my car and drive.
Yeah. And I find little bundles of sticks filled with teeth sometimes, and that kills the vibe. That'll kill your buzz pretty quickly.
But yeah, there. Besides the documentary, there's also like I said, a comic book that I still have. Like I was telling Justin, I have like 7 comic books.
You showed me it, yeah.
Yeah, and this is just like a one-shot issue that basically illustrated like the 3 major Blair Witch mythology stories of like a girl named Ellie Kedward, who was convicted of like drawing blood from children, and then
in the beginning, like the murders, not like more.
There were
students.
murders and disappearances, and there was a second story about the guys who went to go look for that girl missing. Like their bodies were found like kind of tied together in a pentagram shape
at Coffin Rock.
Coffin Rock,
yeah.
And then the third one, they illustrate like the Rustin Parr story of him like kind of losing his mind and just like kidnapping kids and bringing them down to his basement. So
yeah,
really interesting. Each one had a very distinct art style, but
I like that stuff. I like the lore of things. Like I read It. Mm-hmm. I think we mentioned this, and that book is a fucking mess. But all the stuff about Derry and like the history, I love that stuff, and I love the expanded universe, the Blair Witchiverse. You know what I mean?
The BWCU.
The BWCU. Mm-hmm. The beginning of the movie is so good. I love the interviews with the people. We talked about this. It was improvised. It seemed
like they just kind of gave actors just like little like nuggets, like here's a story, memorize this, and then someone's gonna ask you about it and just recall it.
Yeah, with the exception of that older woman who's the person who saw the witch,
right?
Which clearly I said out loud, I was like, this reeks of like a local theater actor who like maybe she just is like, oh, we gotta get her,
right?
You know what I mean?
I mean, you come from an improv background, so like I'm sure you can kind of see some of like the tricks they were working with, or.
Kind of, yeah. There's definitely moments where it was believable. The only thing because even that older woman, her dead-eyed stare made it believable, but the only people who I didn't buy were the 2 dudes fishing. Mm-hmm. Because even then, they're kind of cracking up a little bit.
Yeah. I was wearing costumes. That guy's like those huge glasses. I don't know what you call them, but they're very stylish today. Big glasses. Big glasses.
They're fishing in
they're doing some object
creek
work there. Yeah, fishing in a creek
of like an inch of water. It's like, what do you like? Oh, you just happened upon these 2 fishermen. That was the least believable part. Just their performances. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Everybody else it seemed more like, oh no. I would almost believe they walked around this town when they were filming the movie and like, hey, you want to be in a movie?
Right.
Yes. Okay. Say this.
Even like the woman with like the crying kid, like that. Yeah. That just seemed like really. It seemed authentic in a way.
It did, because why would you have her bring her child?
Yeah. Working with kids, it's a filmmaking nightmare right there.
Oh my god, yeah.
Don't work with kids or animals, or kids or animals.
Bugs.
Yeah. Don't have any in your life either, kids or animals. I mean, that's just they won't make you happy.
No, it's just a given. Just watch The Deuce. They'll fill the Deuce on HBO will fill any gap, any kind of animal or child will fill. Oh, okay. Ooh, zinger. A gap as large as a river that they have to cross via log.
Right. They cross it twice, don't they?
A few times.
Yeah.
I don't think it.
What do you think? Like, say, like we're like in a zoomed out perspective of like God.
I'm zooming out right now.
We're zooming out, and we're watching Heather, Mike, and Josh go into the woods.
Like their little avatars.
Yeah, we're just watching them. Like this is like The Sims.
Yes.
So what's happening? So the Blair Witch, did they make some kind of violation or do something to piss off the Blair Witch? There's this entity that just lives in these woods, or is it just the fact that they just entered the woods themselves?
It seems like for the lore of the Blair Witch, it seems like she or it or whatever is manipulating these like Rustin Parr.
Yeah.
Like if he's behind it, it seems like she can control things from what what I understand.
I mean, it seems like she has some kind of control over time and space where like they're walking like in the same direction for 15 hours and like, oh, now they're back where they started.
Which I want to touch on briefly in relation to the sequel or soft reboot that came out maybe a year
in 2016.
Or two ago.
Just titled Blair Witch.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think because they mentioned at one point that towards the end that Heather took a token from one of the sites.
That's right. Yeah.
I think Mike or Josh. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she touched it. She's touching everything. Heather touches a lot of stuff in this movie, including, Mike's chest.
And and a bag of marshmallows.
Yeah, a bag of marshmallows. So I feel like that could be part of it, but also the vibe I always get is that, like, the Blair Witch is just pure evil. She's just, like, I think just going into the woods
is
it. You know what I mean?
But also there's the fact that, the footage was found. And they don't go into this in the movie itself, but in the ancillary material, they just say that some archaeologists were excavating a burnt out house from like hundreds of years ago. And they found someone moved a stone that was there since like the Revolutionary War. And they found a backpack containing all the film reels and the tapes and even the cameras that were used by these three kids.
Which is great that at least the rental company got their camera back.
Exactly. That was a point of concern by the characters halfway through. It was like, we're going to have to pay like $25 a late rental fee for our cameras.
Right.
And they got to get the dad back.
Got to keep filming.
Yeah, the Maryland School of Film, they're hard asses,
Right, yeah.
It might affect your final grade. But it was the fact that like the footage is found. It's not just like, okay, they die in the basement of that house and then like their cameras and gear just disintegrates or just lies there for years, but someone took the time to carefully put all of their stuff into a bag and put it underneath a stone in an old house. So that means like did the Blair Witch want this stuff to be found?
Right.
Is the Blair Witch a fame whore? Is
the Blair Witch like a tulpa, where it's like it feeds off of the energy and fear, like Freddy Krueger is technically a tulpa,
right?
Or like the girl from The Ring. Is it like a viral thing where it's like what is the Blair Witch's brand? She wants to
go viral, obviously.
I guess she wants. Yeah,
she wanted a movie that cost like $15,000 to make and made $250 million worldwide. I mean,
it's insane.
Yeah, we all know the name Blair Witch now.
We do. So. I say it when I'm drinking my morning coffee. It's part of the language now.
Right. One of the kids.
It's part of witch fever.
Before homeroom, people all make the pledge allegiance to the Blair Witch.
Yeah,
especially in Maryland.
Right. It's true. I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been in a classroom and I've seen the kids do this. It's true.
You just go to Maryland classrooms just on your day off?
Yeah. Sometimes I have a day off and I drive down to Maryland and I check out some classrooms.
Good school system down there.
Yeah, it's a good school system.
Yeah.
I just like to see how things work. I want to make sure the youth of our country are on the right path. You know what I mean?
They serve soft shell crab in the cafeteria,
Yeah, they do.
Instead of like that with those weird cheesesteaks they used to have.
Yeah, you don't want to eat a Baltimore cheesesteak. No, you got to get the soft shell crab. That's really the reason why I go is the soft shell crab in Baltimore, Maryland schools.
Yeah.
Divine.
And you just lie and say, I got a kid that's enrolling next year. Can I have the tour and a meal from the cafeteria?
Yeah,
and
that's basically what I do. Yeah, and sometimes I interview people and ask them about the lore of the Blair Witch. It's hey, that's what I do on my weekends. Some people...
No judgment.
Some people would golf. I do that. So, anyway, so I don't know what she's trying to say. I mean, she won. The Blair Witch wins in the end. She won. She got a sequel and a reboot. Yeah. And a comic book about her.
And a new 4 video games came out about the Blair Witch. 3 that came out in 2000 that I played very little of. This actually, I got vamp while I pull up this description of the first video game because it's very funny.
Okay. Yeah, well, I know there's like a video game that's also coming out now. Like this month.
Oh, it's already out. It's just called The Blair Witch or just Blair Witch.
Something like that. I remember those games, but yeah, this one is just like you don't really do anything. You're just, you're on you have the camera. Because there's a lot of these games that have come out recently, like Slenderman.
Yeah.
The Slenderman.
Slenderman.
Where it's like, or like, what's that one called? Where you're like walking around in an insane asylum and you also have a camera. Outlast, I think. I don't know. But anyway, like all these like spooky games. So it's kind of like that where it's like, you get your flashlight, you only have a certain amount of battery life, you're wandering around the woods.
You got a dog.
There's a dog. Yep. The witch is like taunting you. So it's not like you're fighting the witch. You're just like, it's literally like an experience where you're just playing through this and just getting spooked.
Okay.
So I vamped enough.
The first game is just called Blair Witch Volume 1, Rust and Par, where you play.
Can we just real quick? Rust and Par sounds very much like Rest in Peace.
Rust and Par, rest in peace, rest and Par.
It's just a great name.
Yeah.
It just Rustin.
I never heard the name Rustin before this. I've heard of Dustin.
I've heard of Rust.
I've heard of Justin.
I've heard of... That's it.
Dustin and Rustin.
Justin
Parr.
Ooh. Justin Pass.
Yeah, Pass. I have not seen your basement yet, Justin. I don't care to.
Volume 1. Blair Witch Volume 1.
Yeah.
So is that one.
The story takes place in the year 1941.
Ooh, flashy backy.
And following her training, research scientist Elspeth Doc Holliday is dispatched to the town of Burkittsville by the Spook House, a fictional classified government agency charged with investigating paranormal occurrences. When given the assignment to look into the legend of the Blair Witch, she is partnered with the Stranger, capital S, but decides to go on her own as the Stranger, capital S, is skeptical of the witch's existence.
Is this the same strain, like Billy Joel's The Stranger?
No, it's just a stranger character that apparently he's like your partner, but then, nope, I don't believe in witches, even though my name is the Stranger. Anyway, it's very much like a Resident Evil type game where there's like kind of fixed angles and you just kind of...
Survival horror. You
get attacked by like monsters that are out in the woods. You get attacked by walking stick figures. Remember the stick figures they found in the movie? Those have a life of their own, and they can get taken down by a couple shots by a pistol. In the game. And one part of the game that
hell of a fucking aim to shoot a stick that's walking towards you.
All those gaps, man.
Especially in 1941. That kind of gun that would exist back then.
Luckily, it's one of those games where there's like ammo and health packs everywhere, you know.
Well, the Blair Witch planted them there.
Yeah. They're just helpfully. There's just even you actually get to explore Rustin Parr's house, the location we see in the end of the movie.
That's fun.
And there's a cool thing where you go down the basement and it goes into this little cutscene where you see a 3D model of Mike standing in the corner, and then you're watching this as Heather comes down the stairs with her camera, and you see Heather just drop dead, and then an invisible monster, kind of this almost like werewolf looking guy, just kind of pops out of thin air, and it's just like, that was me, and then he runs away, and you have to go chase him.
He turns to the camera and says, "Hey, remember that? That was me the whole time.
Remember that? Yeah, I'm
an invisible werewolf.
I'm the visible werewolf monster.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it's kind of a cool moment. Yeah, I kind of.
And he winks.
Yeah, he winks.
Winks at the camera like Freddy.
Yeah,
and he puts sunglasses on, and then he runs off, and he's like, "Catch me if you can."
Yeah. That was just one of those games where I really enjoyed, where like it's like, oh, that's something I saw in the movie, but now I can like I can kind of go where I want to go and walk around. I can go up the stairs, go down the stairs, I can go in the living room, I can go in the kitchen, I can go in the basement.
See, what I would do is
the freedom of video games, man.
I would just rewind it. I was like, I want to go back up the stairs, so I'd rewind the tape, and then we'd go back up.
Yeah,
and then I'd fast forward it, and we'd go back down, and sometimes put in like slow mo.
Yeah, but here you can control it yourself with like a different, instead of a remote control, you have a controller with buttons and sticks.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That sounds spooky.
Yeah.
It's cool. That's what I like about this movie, is that it's very vague. We can theorize it all we want. I like they didn't really give you much.
You don't see anything really supernatural, like you just besides like things that are left in the world, like the sticks and the stones.
Well, even like they could have easily, like, if you remade this movie today, like I said at the end there, after Heather's killed, and the camera's just sitting there, if this was made today, which it was,
pretty much,
there'd be a little spooky ghost, like a ghost face would come up. Be like,
ah. That's what we did see in the remake, basically, where like we did see the glimpses of the actual witch kind of chasing the characters.
Which, watching this movie is, I think they took that lady's description of the monster verbatim. Remember, it's very hairy. You could tell it was a woman.
That's right.
And it's like, and I was like, oh, that's why a lot of people shit on this remake. Whereas, like, I don't think it was a great movie, but I think there was definitely elements where it's like, oh, they cared. Yeah. They really wanted, it wasn't just like a cash cow. I mean, it is, where it's like, because we don't need it. It doesn't need to be done. But there were moments where I was like, oh, this is really fucking cool. I wish you'd done this the whole movie.
There was some cool things where like it was like almost like a whole paradox where like he sees the video of me in the beginning. Oh,
spoilers if you haven't seen it.
You haven't seen Blair Witch.
It's a relative of Heather that goes into the woods.
Yeah, and he sees a video on the internet. It's her brother. Her brother.
Oh, her brother.
Yeah, and he sees a video of her on the internet, and then like it turns out the spoilers, whatever.
If you haven't seen the 2016 Blair Witch, you're not going to see it.
It's not going to affect your experience.
I just want to,
yeah.
Just in case. Yeah,
stop now. And anyway, it's almost a whole paradox where like he creates the video that he sees on the internet that makes him go out in the woods
to
find
BCU.
his sister. So the BWCU.
BWCU. That's really cool. I love the time stuff. I like that they did that in such an interesting way.
That is the most terrifying thing, I feel like. Time. Like in like a realistic
losing
way.
Time.
Yeah, like losing time. Yeah.
When they appear, like because they go in, it's the student. It's like him and his friends go in to find Heather, and they're filming everything again, except they got GoPros.
Right.
I guess we're talking about this movie now. They got drones, which is like fuck off. But like whatever. The drone doesn't last very long. But yeah, then they have these two like redneck type characters be their guides, I guess.
Yeah.
For some stupid reason. But then they get lost. But then they come back and they're like all disheveled, and it's been like an hour for them, and they'd be like, we've been wandering around for like 2 weeks. But then if you get to the point where it clearly you find out at the end that the Blair Witch uses them to bring them to the house. So I think because you and I brought up, should we get into the map thing?
Yeah.
The motivations of Mike kicking up. I like he doesn't throw it.
Yeah.
He kicks it into the
I guess
river.
you have to. How do you kick a map? Do you have to like? Do you think he like crumbled into a ball first and then kicked it?
Well,
or do you think he just like
I like to
laid
think
it out?
I like to think, yeah, he took it between his thumb and forefinger, held it out like a piece of paper because it is, and then he like kicked it with his foot. And I like to think that it stuck to the toe of his boot because they've been walking around in mud for like 72 hours. And then he held as it stuck to his boot. I believe this should be a deleted scene. He shimmies his foot over the river and he shakes it a little bit, and then the map falls down into the river, but then it doesn't quite go anywhere, so he has to take a twig and then he sticks it and he pushes it down the creek, and then he's like, in his mind, this is going to be really funny later.
Yeah. Well, do you think his mind was? I mean, they don't really explore this too much, but like, is he being possessed by the witch to literally take the map out of Heather's pocket and kick it into the woods? I mean, like. Is Mike just a dope, or is he like? Is there some kind of nefarious thing going on?
Yeah, let's talk about Mike.
Yeah.
He's a little dumb baby dopey boy. At the beginning of this movie, he lives with his parents.
He just lives with his mom. We don't get to meet his mom.
No, we don't.
No.
He says goodbye, mom. She's off camera.
Yeah.
And then he's mostly just sits in a tent with his headphones on, pretending nothing's happening.
Yeah,
He also looks like he's on the verge of crying, even when they're fine.
He's got very irregular body hair patterns.
Yep. I think Heather wants to fuck Mike because she calls him their little Mikey boy.
Yeah.
She gets very endearing with him. She's like, "Oh, I'm impressed by you," and then like, "Oh, look, let's get a shot of Mike having his shirt off. This is just for the film."
Right.
Yeah,
I can see this is a good fan theory.
Yeah, and so I think that she's attracted to him, and maybe it could, that all falls apart, obviously. But then dumb baby Mikey Dopey Boy steps up towards the end of the movie. He's the only one keeping it together.
Yeah,
you notice that? How Josh completely unravels, Heather unravels, and then Mike's like, "No, let's tear down the tent. No, it's gonna be fine. We're gonna walk this way." And it's like, "No, oh, there's the house. We're gonna go in." He like fucking, I don't know if it's just his manic anxiety, but he takes charge. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. He even like, I think they're all out of cigarettes, and he like takes some twigs and pretends it's a cigarette towards the end.
Yeah,
remember that?
That's yeah. I think because you and I missed that. I was like, "Is that a real cigarette, or is he just pretending now?" But no, I think he's the only one. Even like vaguely keeping it together.
Right. I mean, like when they're all talking about Gilligan's Island around the campfire, and they're talking about like the skipper and the captain.
Yeah.
And then he has that great line where he says, "Let's not call it the captain, you illiterate TV people, because he's the skipper."
Yeah. You know what that scene that reminded me of? Stand By Me, when they're all around the campfire and they're talking about TV.
Yeah.
That's just what campfires are for. They're like, what the hell is Goofy?
That's all I do around campfires. Yeah, just talk about TV. Like we're in the woods, just marveling at this chemical reaction that we created through years of trial and error. But like, let's talk about what's on the boxes in our pockets and living rooms.
Well, what other common thing do we have?
I don't know. What do people talk about besides movies and television?
The Deuce.
The Deuce. They will be talking about the Deuce.
Well, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
The relationships between Mike, Josh, and Heather. Do you think they liked each other? Were they friends, or were they just students?
It seemed like Heather and Josh were like students in the same program at school, but Josh knew Mike, so like they were just using. They were gearing up pre-production, or just he's a sound guy. They just he knows levels, he knows different types of microphones, and he knows how to work the DAT, the digital audio tape.
Is that the 16mm camera?
No, I think there's two. They had
two cameras.
They had a video camera in color. They had a black and white 16mm camera, and then they had a digital audio recorder.
Oh, for some reason I always thought the DAT was another camera.
I don't think so. No,
that makes sense though.
Yeah,
because that's why he's always sitting with headphones on.
Yeah, because the film camera doesn't record sound, so they have to sync it up in post production, which is why they were doing slates before when they were still filming the documentary. In the movie, when they kick a map in the woods.
No, yeah, Mike. I don't know. Yeah, I think it seems like there's already some tension between Heather and Josh because he's like Mr. What you call him? Mr.
Mr. Punctuality.
Mr. Punctuality. Yeah, I don't know. They seem like they, go back and forth. With some little barbs and jabs at each other. So I don't know. I don't think they were that close from the beginning, but then they always keep going back and forth.
The Blair Witch brought them closer.
At one point, she bites Josh, and then the next second they're just like apologizing. No, bites Mike.
Yeah,
she's like, if you bite me one more fucking time, I'm gonna throw you into the woods. It's like you're already in the woods.
We're already in the woods.
Yeah. So I think the dynamics play into a huge thing, and Heather's like obviously a huge control freak. Mm-hmm. She's the director. Right. She hires Josh to. Josh is handling the cameras.
Right, he's handling the 16mm black and white camera.
Right. Yeah. But then she immediately starts arguing with him about the lenses, and then she starts filming everything. Mm-hmm. And it's like she doesn't stop.
Right. But she says she kind of uses like a defense mechanism, or just like it makes her feel better because like
all she has left.
All she has left. She's like kind of seeing reality through this lens, this filter that is helping her deal with this incredibly stressful time as they're being hunted in the woods by an unknown entity.
Yeah, it's Josh that calls her out on that because he starts filming her and he's like, I see why you like this.
Yeah.
That's the...
If you were lost in the woods, Justin, would you keep filming with your camera, your cell phone, just to kind of make a record, or would you just...
Is this before or after I see a giant figure made out of sticks or a bunch of children knock my tent over?
Yeah. I think after.
Yeah, I would definitely keep filming.
Yeah, you keep filming. Yeah. It can make a sick Instagram video.
You got to wonder, it'd be my phone that I'd have on me. So how much battery life does an iPhone 8 have?
I don't know.
Chances are that's also my flashlight. Knowing me, I'm going into the woods when I'm looking for porn. I don't go prepared.
Right. Get one of those little external batteries, maybe.
Yeah. I have my field notebook. I have my How to Survive in the Woods book.
Yeah.
And my iPhone. Yeah. Let me see here. The tent. Speaking of the tent sequence, I was so anxious.
Yeah, that's when things
horrifying.
That's you could explain the other occurrences, maybe there's just some weird crap out here, maybe there's some loud deer, but then once they literally hear children's voices and children's voices being kind of warped, there's that one the pitch is kind of gets really kind of weird and strange, and they're just and the tent starts shaking, and then they just say, let's make a run for it, and they start running. There's that iconic shot of Heather running through the woods, and she stops and yells, "What the fuck is that?" We don't see what that is.
Again, if that was today, you'd see something there.
You see that, yeah.
But the fact that the camera turns and there's still nothing.
Right.
And I think when I was a kid, I would pause it and be like, is there something there?
What else out there? Did you know? No,
I don't know a lot about the production of this, so
it's
please
really interesting.
Get into it.
The filmmakers, the actual directors of the film, they were basically giving the actors some food, some film, and GPS coordinates, just to here's where you got to go and camp, and then you film everything, and we're just gonna fuck with you in the woods. So they literally had a crew of people breaking branches, playing recordings of children laughing, and that moment when she yells, "What the fuck is that?" was actually a crew member dressed head to toe in white thermal underwear. So they were hoping that effect would create some kind of ghostly image on the video, but unfortunately just did not capture that with the camera. So
there was somebody there.
There was somebody there. That's why they got that reaction from her.
I figured there was actually something there, and it wasn't just her riffing.
Right.
But that's really interesting. Yeah. So there's really no... I wonder if today's technology, could you take that and enhance that image and see that? Probably not.
No, because they only did one take of that. I don't think they were doing multiple takes. They were just whatever we get, we get.
Yeah.
So they didn't go back and reshoot that scene.
Right. Well, I was just thinking with the footage we have now for the movie, if there was some kind of way to enhance.
Oh, maybe.
Enhance.
You just say enhance and it enhances. Yeah. And you get even better resolution when you enhance.
Yeah. That's how I understand.
That's how things work. Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Can we try to do the phone call?
Absolutely.
All right. So
this is a friend of yours.
It's a friend of mine, Adam Malantonio.
Malantonio.
Adam and I are good friends. We live together. Mm-hmm. Adam lives in Boston now. Mm-hmm. And they are driving home currently. And Adam is a huge Blair Witch fan. Mm-hmm. Probably favorite movie kind of level.
Blair Witch nut.
Book of Shadows.
Oh, he's got that on DVD, I bet, right?
Oh, on VHS. I think he has 4 copies of the Blair Witch on VHS. But we're going to try to call them right now.
Okay.
Makes me think.
Sounds like the noise.
Oh, hey, what's up, Adam?
Wait, hang on.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Adam, we're about 50 minutes into the episode about the Blair Witch. Do you want to give us your thoughts on the Blair Witch?
I mean, short of, it's one of my favorites. It's like, I don't know. It's the stalwart of a genre that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But it's stuff really good.
And you're a strong proponent of Book of Shadows, correct?
Yeah, it's really dumb and fun.
Okay.
That's my say about it.
Okay. How many times would you say that you've seen both movies?
Oh God, I don't even know. I mean, not as much as some movies, but I can just put on in the background. I like to like give it some space.
Oh, give it some space.
Yeah,
Like,
check in with it
mentally
every couple
watch it.
years.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
And
So, like, there's no subtext, which I like. Like, I think what I like about it is that it's all surface level.
right. Yeah, like it leaves a lot to the imagination.
Yeah.
Which is the scariest thing out there.
It is.
Imagination.
Yeah, imagination's the scariest thing. Mm-hmm. Would you agree, Adam, that imagination's the scariest thing?
It can be terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that whole shot where they're running in the woods and Heather's like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
Yeah.
Adam, did you know there was actually somebody in thermal underwear in that shot that she saw?
I have heard that, and I'm very glad that we cannot see that person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool.
It could look really dumb.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, I'm glad it didn't show up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, I assumed that they'd be wearing some kind of monster costume, but the fact that it's just underwear.
Yeah, I've heard a few things. I've heard thermal underwear. I think I've also heard that it was like a creepy lady or someone dressed up like a creepy old lady.
Yeah.
And I think I heard something about like a creepy clown mask as well.
Creepy clowns. If you had to rate this, if you had to pick, all right, so you had the real Sophie's Choice right now, or a Good Son type choice. Say you were hanging over a cliff, and in one hand you had a copy of The Craft, and then in the other hand you had a copy of Blair Witch. Which one would you drop?
Oh God. Probably would drop The Craft.
Really?
I think I would pick Blair Witch.
Okay.
Yeah. I think The Craft sometimes can get a little campy.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like, for me, Blair Witch is like solid start to finish.
Yeah, I agree.
Adam, we were talking about if Mike was possessed by the Blair Witch, or was he just a dumb, dopey child baby who just decided just to get rid of the map because he's an infant?
Yeah, like why do you think Mike threw the map in the creek? Was it the witch, or was it his own just being a dumb idiot?
I think it's all human folly. It's sort of out of frustration of the whole thing. And there's the whole dynamic of Mike and Heather really hating each other. With like Josh is like the kid in the middle trying to pull out Hothead.
Oh,
So
see,
I like that.
See, I had a theory
It
that
feels very on point.
yeah, I had a theory that Heather wanted to fuck Mike.
Oh.
But I like yours better.
There's a thin line between love and hate.
It's true. It's almost the same.
Yeah.
Would you? Go ahead.
I feel like my reading of it is very influenced by the ICD trivia
Okay.
of how Mike and Heather. I think it's supposed to be Heather and Josh are supposed to be like mad at each other, but it's really like IRL with Mike and Heather that just fucking hate each other.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I didn't know that.
I could be remembering that, but yeah.
Okay. Final thought. Would you say that the Blair Witch herself is just a personification of human folly?
In the universe of the movie, or like as like a theme in the film?
As like a theme in the film.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see that. It's sort of the
Because they do it
I
to
always read
themselves.
it as like, yeah. I just always read it as like it's the past coming back to sort of take revenge or like hunt for our past evil.
Yeah. The reckoning.
The Reckoning. There you go.
Cool.
Much more eloquently.
No, this is great. All right, Adam, I'm going to let you go. You're driving right now, right?
I am. I'm currently in Connecticut.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, enjoy Connecticut.
Yeah, and when you park your car, don't leave a water bottle on the roof.
Yeah, don't leave a water bottle on the roof.
Oh, shit. Fuck. I gotta pull over.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll let you go then.
All
All right. Thanks, Adam.
Take care, y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye. All right. There we go. Hot take from Adam. I'm surprised Adam would let The Craft go before The Blair Witch.
I've never seen The Craft. I assuming it's about the macaroni?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a macaroni and cheese movie.
Okay.
Yeah. It's about two noodles who find the cheese.
Oh.
The cheese is the MacGuffin.
Good motivator.
Yeah.
Cheese.
And at the end,
Yeah.
Haley Joel Osment
Are they-
eats them.
Okay.
It's a great movie. Yeah. So, wow, a lot to think about. I like the behind the scenes tension of Heather actually not liking Mike in IRL.
Oh yeah, I've not heard that. I mean, it does seem like the things they were putting the talent through was almost like borderline illegal, where they're just like, "Here's a burrito for the day, and go to this GPS location, and just let yourself be terrified by the unknown."
Yeah,
which I guess is what acting is.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's a very method way of acting. Like I feel like it's like very Daniel Day-Lewis way.
Right.
Like Daniel Day-Lewis would do.
Oh, he
this.
would kill as the Blair Witch in this.
He would
movie.
actually, yeah, he'd actually probably literally.
He would have to kill just to kind of get into that character's mind space.
Yeah. I've killed him. Roll the cameras. Yeah, no, yeah, I don't know. I was going to say, where's going to go with that? Great, good movie.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Let me go over in my notes. I think I had a couple more things. Oh, I just like that Mom's mashed potatoes were Josh's last words besides
Heather or Josh. Tell me where you are, Josh.
well, that was Mike saying that.
Oh, Josh's last words. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, Josh's last words. I mean,
Right.
besides the things we hear in the woods,
Yeah.
which I'm not convinced is actually
Yeah.
Josh. Could be the witch.
I mean, for a found footage movie where it's just like people just kind of whipping and panning the camera around, like there are some really nicely composed shots in this film, especially on like the black and white footage. Just like the sun setting through the woods, like the trees look all kind of black and the sky looks white. There's that one shot that Heather sets up as like towards the end where like Josh is already gone. She just has the camera on a tripod, or she just puts the camera down in an angle and she goes over to comforts Mike, and you just see that for a few seconds, and it's a nice moment between the two of them.
See, I watched that and I was like, yeah, it's a nice moment, but she's like, oh, before I go and comfort him, I still got to position ourselves in frame of the, you know what I mean? It's like at that point, she's definitely like lost her mind still.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice human moment though, where you got Mike pretending that a stick is a cigarette, and then like Heather just like will not stop filming. Did you have anything else?
I mean, I just feel like this, like the legacy of this movie was
Yeah.
almost kind of tarnished by the amount of parody that was all the like the parodies of this. You know, we played like the Target.
Oh yeah, we didn't even
commercial.
talk about that. The beginning of
Yeah.
this episode was a Target commercial
Yeah.
starring Garth Brooks. Yeah, or his alter ego.
Right, Chris Gaines
Chris Gaines.
could have been either or.
Yeah.
But I believe there was like a what do you call it? The thumb, the Thumb Wars movies. Remember those movies that came out? It was just like they just painted people's thumbs with costumes and face paint and just had them play characters, and it's like a puppet show almost.
Oh, okay.
They did
yeah.
like the Blair Thumb.
Yeah.
The MTV Movie Awards. They won famously where it was like Chris Rock and Janine Garofalo go out in the woods to like film a Blair Witch parody, but they find that the woods are already like all crowded with other people doing their own parodies.
That's really funny.
I couldn't find it on the internet. It's somewhere out there, but it's not. But I just remember that part.
I think it speaks to just how ingrained this is in our culture, and it's like people are still showing other people this movie. It holds up.
Yeah.
It's like I think it's gonna hold up forever until the sun explodes or we're all nuked.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
one or the other.
One or the other,
Yeah.
or the
Or
Blair
the-
Witch
Blair Witch.
kills us all.
Yeah. I remember even personally, like, like I was in 7th grade at the time, and I had like a family camcorder, and I remember I did make some kind of project for class, and it was like almost like a Blair Witch parody. I just remember like going out in the woods with some friends, and like it was easy. That's the best thing
easy.
about these. That's why this movie is so cheap and easy to make. Well, it's like the woods is basically a free location for the most part. I mean, it's also just a very mysterious place. It's elemental. The woods were around since the inception of the planet. They were there before us, and they'll probably be here after we're gone.
Yeah, no, the woods are always seen as just a thing of mystery. And
especially at night, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, personally, I actually have a story after I saw the Blair Witch Project.
Go into it.
So I grew up kind of in the woods, you know, like just a woody area, you know, down the street were like some thick woods that me and my friends would ride our bikes through and down paths and just kind of hang out.
Like Stranger Things?
Like Stranger Things. It's, we didn't, you know, no...
I can only relate...
No Millie Bobby Browns.
Okay. I can only relate real life to Stranger Things.
Right.
Because Stranger Things is the greatest thing ever. Anyway, go ahead. Continue. I'm sorry.
So I'd seen the movie, thoroughly freaked out by it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it leaves you in a very just unsettling place. And even though I think I knew it wasn't real, but still, it had an effect on me. So I get home, and my dad asked me to take out the trash. So we live, the trash cans we had at our house are kind of by the edge of the woods. And we had some outdoor lights, just kind of illuminate the backyard so I can see where I'm going. So I say, okay, I'll take the trash out. I take a couple bags of trash. I walk out to the woods. Then at that moment, my dad turns off the lights. So I'm just, just covered in darkness. It's spooky as hell. He shuts off all the lights in the house, so I can't see anything's going on. And I leave the trash where it is. I run up to the door. He locks the door. I go to the front door. He locks that door too. And he just leads me outside for maybe in my mind it felt like forever, but it was like maybe like a few minutes or so. But you know, plus, you know, growing up in Pennsylvania, we're just a stone's throw from Maryland. So, like, in my mind, like, the Blair Witch could have traveled. You know?
Hey, these woods are connected.
Could have went up 95, yeah.
All these woods were one at one time.
Exactly. So
that's creepy.
Dads,
man.
Yeah, dads, yeah, thanks. Thanks for everything.
Yeah. My friend Vicky has a similar story. I'm not going to tell it because it's her story, but it involved cops being called on her dad. That's spooky. Have you seen Willow Creek?
Willow Creek? No.
The Bobcat Goldthwait movie?
No.
Okay. This, if you want to see an actual spiritual sequel to Blair Witch, I highly recommend Willow Creek. Maybe we could do an episode on it.
All right.
It's a Sasquatch movie.
I've heard of this, yeah. Okay, I didn't know the title. Yeah,
it's incredible. It's got two leading people from the TV show Popular. I don't remember their names.
That's the subject of another podcast
it is
that
a
you
subject,
run.
Yeah, that may or may not see the light of day. It will one day.
I hope it does.
Anyway, yeah, so it's about this couple. This guy's obsessed with Sasquatch, and like they go on vacation to just hit all the Sasquatch hotspots. It's the exact same kind of thing as Blair Witch. They're interviewing people. It's like, have you ever seen Sasquatch? And there's a bunch of weirdos who are like, but then they kind of run into people who are like, get the fuck out of our woods. It's like people who are like clearly doing like drug type stuff in the woods.
Drug type.
Yeah, real drug type.
Yeah.
A lot of flannel.
Yeah. A lot of Tylenol. I
yeah,
got you.
yeah. But anyway, yeah, there's like a whole extended scene in a tent that is very similar to the tent scene, where except it's like, it's these two characters having a conversation, and it's like 15 minutes long. Maybe it's not that long. It feels very long before anything even happens, and you're just like, I know fucking something's gonna happen.
Oh, should they kind of lured into like the complacency of the scene, or just like safety? This is just a scene of characters, and then it's like, nope. This is a beat in a horror film. Yeah,
it's great because they filmed it the same way. These two characters had the video camera, and then Bobcat and like his crew are literally just out in the woods making noises.
Yeah.
They're pushing on the tent.
Oh, that sounds
fun. They made
fun.
like there's like a point where they find tracks, and it's because like literally there are these things that Bobcat made, and he put on his feet, and he just walked, and then like made these weird calls, like and walked around the tent. So when they woke up, there were these footprints. It's really fun.
Okay.
The ending is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But lots of like, let's flee the tent and run into the woods. Like, it gave me the same amount of anxiety and like vulnerability as Blair Witch. And it's like, it popped into my head watching this. I'm like, oh shit. Like they really, I don't know. I like the Blair Witch reboot. It's okay. But Willow Creek, highly recommend it.
Okay.
That's my hot take on
I'll check it out.
But yeah, anybody out there, check out that movie. It's nice and spooky, and it's the spooky season. So.
It's a spooky month.
Spooky month. I mean, by the time this comes out, the month will be almost over, but you'll have a few more days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
technically Halloween goes through like the first weekend of November, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I mean, technically it's Christmas also right now and
Right.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and it's still kind of summer.
It's still summer.
Yeah,
So it's a lot going on.
a lot of festing going on in our
There's
town.
a lot of festing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's all I have.
Yeah, I just had like this film just ruined camping for me. Like I don't enjoy camping anymore. I never really did to begin with, but now anytime I'm out there, like I hear any kind of like branches cracking in the distance. It's the Blair Witch.
It's the witch.
So
yeah. I mean, The Craft was made before this movie, but I feel like after I think anyway, I could be wrong about that. Anyway, if I am, whatever. But Witch Fever hits. I feel like we're back into Witch Fever again.
yeah,
Because for a while there, it was like we had The Craft, we had Blair Witch, and now it's like we got The Witch.
we got Sabrina, the
We got
teenage
Sabrina,
witch.
the teenage witch. We got Hereditary, which is kind of like pagan, satanistic, witchy stuff.
Midsummer
Midsummer
had some witchery.
kind of witchery, like very like ritualistic stuff.
I just saw Kiki's Delivery Service, the Miyazaki anime film that deals with witches.
Okay. Hocus
Yeah.
Pocus.
I mean, obviously, witches aren't real. We should assure our listeners that witches they don't exist in our real reality.
Right.
But it's a fun idea to play
Yeah.
with.
Witches and ghosts.
Yeah, not real.
Not real.
No. If you saw one, you just probably hallucinated,
Yeah.
or yeah,
It's probably just some people fucking with you.
yeah, probably. Yeah, we all
people
have
out-
those friends who are just like fucking with us.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pranking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like how when we left,
It's like a prank.
we came back to my house and all my stuff was in the front yard and covered in some kind of weird slime.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's probably just Anthony.
Yeah, probably.
It's just asserting his dominance.
Yeah. Must be because his stuff wasn't out there.
Right.
Yeah. And you kept saying like, well, why your stuff? And I was like, please stop saying that to me. It's scaring me. Stop
I
filming,
wanted to put
Jiah.
you in the right frame of mind for this podcast.
Yeah. I also want to say that for the listener at home, Jiah has been filming this entire thing and will not stop filming me. So that's a thing.
I'm renting a 16 millimeter black and white camera from the PBS station down the street.
That baby is heavy and you are
Yeah.
sweating so much trying to keep that thing on your
Yeah.
shoulder.
And the film development costs, I mean, I don't know if it's really going to be worth it for the joke that it's creating, but I'm willing to go with it.
Yeah, things giving off a lot of heat too, and I didn't set up any fans for
Very
the sake
heavy.
of the podcast,
Yeah.
but
I've had to change the mags every about 15, 16 minutes or so. And
yeah. Thank you for doing that quietly,
yeah,
by the way.
yeah, it's 4 years of film school, baby.
Yeah, all right.
That's where you learn how to change mags.
I think that's all we got.
Okay.
Right before we started this episode, Jiah was like, we should figure out how to end this.
Yeah.
And we never did. We just started recording.
We just said like, oh, please rate, review, and subscribe.
Please rate, review, and subscribe.
Share whatever bullshit we put out on social media.
We
Bullshit.
It's bullshit. It's all just pictures from another website posted on the same website.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and let people know about this stuff. We're gonna have.
Oh, we had a homework assignment.
We did.
We were talking about starting a Amusing Ourselves to Death book club,
Oh yes.
where we assign a book that we'll both read, and hopefully in a future episode we'll get to talk about that book.
Yeah.
So do we want to choose that book today on mic?
I mean, you started it, so I think we have to now.
We're committing to reading books. All right.
I have mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
I'd like to reread House of Leaves. So
House
do you
of
wanna do that?
Leaves.
Okay.
We're going to commit to reading House of Leaves by, I believe his name is Mark
Danielewski.
Danielewski. It's a book, some horror aspects in it. Deals with some meta narratives, and I believe there's some footnotes.
Oh, there's some footnotes.
Footnotes. You know I love my footnotes.
All the word house is always written in blue.
There's some spirals. I remember flipping through it once.
There's something in the binding. You have to tear the book apart though, so I never did.
Oh.
I wish I had because I lost the book anyway.
Okay. Well, now's your chance to
Rip your book, copy the book apart.
rip my copy apart.
Yeah, it's like a story within a story within a story. It's a very. We'll get into it. That's
Okay.
going to be a fucking episode right there.
Okay. I'm already getting into it.
Cool.
Okay, so that's the assignment. Amusing Ourselves to Death book club.
Yeah,
House of Leaves.
I don't know when we're gonna do it, but
Yeah.
we're gonna do it soon, I guess.
Soon,
seeing as
yeah.
we just talked about it. We'll keep you posted in future episodes on where we're at on House of Leaves. But
Yeah.
it's a commitment.
Yeah.
So maybe go out and buy it and start reading it now. Right now.
Right this second. Turn off the podcast.
I guess we'll just end with. They asked this in Blair Witch. Jiah, what's your favorite thing to do on a Sunday?
I just love to podcast, Justin.
You know what? I'm gonna say the exact same thing.
well, not anymore. I mean, after this podcast, like going out in the woods, it's like, after the events of Blair Witch, she didn't really find that appealing. So I don't know where I'm going with this.
To the woods?
To the woods.
You want to go to the woods? I mean, you got the camera.
Yeah,
so
I
might
got
as
the
well go out
camera. Yeah, they got Wi-Fi in the woods now, so it makes things a lot easier. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go to the woods.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks everybody for listening.
Yeah.
Rate, review, and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah. Go distract yourselves
Yeah. To death.
to death.